Okay, folks, I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, The Lonesome Crown. We're going to be reviewing another Tony Hillerman, Leaphorn and Chee mystery called People of Darkness. You know, this came out in 1980. And we're going to talk about some of the way this has aged a little bit. But first of all, let's talk about the cover. You know, all the Tony Hillerman books, which I have the entire Tony Hillerman, Leaphorn and Chee collection right up there. You can see they're all there. Do-do-do-do. I've reviewed 3 of them so far on my channel. This is number 4. We're going to end up reading and reviewing all of them. I've read them all once. We'll reread them and review them for the channel. This is number 4, People of Darkness. You know, we got Lieutenant Leaphorn of the Navajo Tribal Police and Sergeant Jim Chee of the Navajo Tribal Police. This one is more about, the first 3 novels we reviewed were more about Lieutenant Leaphorn. This one focuses more on Sergeant Jim Chee. He's a younger guy. Leaphorn is the older guy. Chee is the younger guy. He's a little more idyllic, a little more mystical into the Indian ways. And so I like the interplay between the 2 of them, especially in some of the later novels, which are some of the better novels, actually. But this is about, this is more told from the Jim Chee, you know, the lieutenant, or the sergeant, the younger guy. So what happens? What is this about? And what are some of the great things about it? Because there's a lot of great things about it. But there's some wonky police work going on in this, and we're going to get to that because I think it's dated a little bit. This was written in 1980, so it was a while back. So the basic plot of this is, this takes place on the Navajo Nation in northern Arizona, as do all of the novels in the series. A dying man is murdered. So why is a guy that's going to already die, he's just days away from death anyway, why he's murdered? Why? We have to figure that out. Also, there's a box of stolen rocks, stolen stones. They're mysterious stones. Are they magical? What do they mean to the Indian culture? And we gotta figure that out too, because they're very valuable. Some really rich people want those stones that have been stolen back. And our main guy, Sergeant Jim Chee, he's part of the Navajo Tribal Police, but he's being courted by the FBI. The FBI, they want to hire him. And so now he's struggling with, do I stay with the Navajo Tribal Police, or do I go ahead and join the FBI and follow my dreams that way? Because that's really what he wants to do. That's the basic setup of the plot. And within that construct of the plot, Jim Chee, one of the interesting things is he meets this girl. She's a white woman, and she's a college professor, very liberal college professor, becomes fixated with Jim Chee because he's Navajo, and he knows this. He's like, the only reason she's interested in me is because, the only reason this really successful, beautiful white woman is interested in me is because I am like unique. I am like, you know, like, I'm a Navajo. I'm a policeman. It's just like, I am a very big curiosity to her. And if you watched my review of The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, that horror novel, there's also a similar plot thread in that of the Navajo and of the Indian nation and how they relate to white people, especially when they're dating and marrying. And Stephen Graham Jones did a great job of explaining that dynamic, and Tony Hillerman does a great job of explaining that dynamic too, where the Navajo in the back of his head, the Indian in the back of his head is like, I know that I'm just sort of a trinket to this person. I don't know if they really like me because of who I am, or because of if it's the novelty of dating a Native American. But at the same time, Jim Chee's like, but this woman, fine. Oh, she fine. Oh my gosh, I don't care why she wants to date me. This babe, hot. And so, you know, he's like, he's all into it. You know, he's like, I know what her game plan is I'm just a novelty to her. But, you know, she a babe. I'm a dude. So he gets involved with her, right? And he knows it's going to go badly, but, you know, hey, you know, pretty woman, guys are guys. So anyway, one of the things where the police work gets a little bit wonky is he's trying to show off to this girl. And he actually, while he's investigating the case and the murders and the missing stones, on a date, he takes the girl out with him on an investigation with picnic. It's like a half picnic, half we're going to go do some police work while we're out on this picnic. And they get in a gunfight. And he gives the girl a gun. And she's in a gunfight too. I mean, the amount of policy, the amount of police procedure and policy that's broken in this scene is off the charts. And I was just like rereading it going, I don't remember. When the first time I read this, I don't really remember thinking this is weird. But now that I have been through the academy, and now that I have worked in law enforcement, I'm like, holy shit, those are grounds for firing if I've ever heard of it. Hey, what can you do? So it's a book, 1980. Hey, maybe police policy and procedures back in the 1980s. Maybe you could do a picnic / police investigation with your date, and it was okay. Maybe in the gunfight, you could, hey, here's a pistol. Help me out here. Anyway, I thought that was just an interesting part of the book. Beyond that, Tony Hillerman writes just great. I mean, he is very, very respectful of all the Native American cultures. He's very in tune with what every tribe does and how they interact. And that's why you read these books, because you want to get a flavor of the desert Southwest and the Navajo nations and how all those tribes within that and all of them work together with the Utes and the Paiutes and the Navajos and everything else that's in those areas and how they all intermingle. And he treats it with such delicacy and realism, despite the weird gunplay with the girlfriend. All right. I give People of Darkness. Oh, and who are the People of Darkness? Okay, so Chee, that's a big major thing, is the People of Darkness are sort of this offshoot Indian branch of religious cult people who Chee just doesn't like, because they are doing stuff. They're not, I mean, they're taking the Indian culture and like perverting it in a way, right? And he doesn't like that. He calls them the People of Darkness, right? He considers them worse than like, a rat, like the mobsters have the guy that rats everybody out, or in the prison, you got the rat. He calls them like moles and rats. He does not like the People of Darkness because of and they're all entangled in this too. But anyway, I give the People of Darkness a solid 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a great mystery, and I love my Tony Hillerman mysteries. So People of Darkness, book number 4, mostly focusing on the young Sergeant Jim Chee. Lieutenant Leaphorn's not in it a whole lot, but that's all right. Throughout the 20 some odd books, they both interplay back and forth, and there's beautiful, beautiful stuff.